So, I don't know how much
Leonardo. Haha, Nard.
I don't know how long this is going to go because there's obviously a lot of things to say about Japan.
Let's talk about Japan, where we went.
I mean, if we don't actually get a chance to cover everything, I might just do my own stream like where I can just cover everything in details because I was there for a very long time. But I had a great time in Japan. I really, really enjoyed Japan, and there's a lot of things I miss about it right now.
Okay.
And yet, at the same time, there's a lot of things about Japan that kind of was interesting to me. I'm not going to say it was bad, but there was definitely a lot of like,
head scratchers.
Yeah, head scratchers and stuff. So while a lot of my tweets were all very positive and all that stuff like that, like there's still concerns that I have, you know, just having been there for a while now. So
what sucked?
I mean, so I guess we'll go into this just kind of at the start, right?
What sucked?
Because there's a lot of great things about Japan, so don't get me wrong. But, you know, obviously there is a lot of xenophobia in Japan. You know, we have heard stories about, like, Muffin Man, Kami, and Smug always getting stopped and searched by police.
You mean 3 Americans?
Yeah, 3 Americans.
Or 3 men?
3 men, yeah.
Oh, what's the common denominator there?
But also there's a lot of misogyny there. You know, like, it's crazy to me, like, literally every store you walk into, like every 7-Eleven you go into, there's the magazine section. It's just a giant section devoted to idol magazines. Right? And it's crazy. And like, I was hunting for a magazine for Tubaware, right? It was the V-Jump magazine with the Dragon Ball Fighters on there, right? So I'm sitting here trying to get him a magazine, and like I see an awning on a store. It was like books and DVD. I was like, perfect. I bet you I can find it in there. I walked into that store. There's nothing about video games in there. Let me tell you. It was definitely not about video games.
You walked into like a porno?
Yeah, it was absolutely a porn store. And I was like,
that's funny.
Okay. But like, you know, you go to like all those figure stores, you know, you like the Kotobukiya, I walked into the Amy store, you go to Mandarake, like all these places like that just sell figures, and like the figures are like, I don't know, it's just like the whole thing is just like, as a little girl growing up Japan, like I just don't see how, it's gotta be hard to have a little sense of self-worth outside of your appearance. You know, the way
so far, I am not sure we're talking about. We got racism and we got sexism. We talking about Japan, or did we talk? Which country are we talking about here? Is this America, or are we talking about Japan?
Yeah, I know. Fair enough.
It's like those are very common problems, and not to downplay them, but they exist there as they exist in many other places.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. So I don't know. It was a little disconcerting. But then the other interesting part about it was, it's a very solitary country. You know, when we were walking around Ningyocho, which is where we were staying, we were talking to each other as we were walking around on the streets.
Yeah, like this, yelling at each other like we do.
Yeah, we're just like, hey, what's up? You know, like even kind of whispering at some points in time, because we were literally like the only people talking to each other at all. Like, you go on the subway, we were talking on the subway, I felt like we were being so rowdy.
Yeah.
Because nobody was talking.
Nobody spoke to each other.
And like Tasty Steve. Like, as soon as he's there, as soon as he talks in a normal voice, it's just like,
his normal voice is a 9.
Right.
He does not speak quietly.
Right.
His whisper's loud.
And it's like every restaurant that you go to, everyone's eating by themselves. You know, there's very little like...
Well, that was that was our experience. As we were walking around Ningyocho, which was kind of like a businessy area where people were just kind of passing through, I think is how it was. As I stayed there longer, it didn't seem like the case anymore. Going to the mall, everybody was with their friends and family, and they were definitely chatting it up.
Yeah.
Which is where Evo Japan took place. It was in a mall, like at the top section of a mall.
Right.
Also a museum. There's a big building. Anyway, they were definitely talking to each other. And when I went to the touristy areas, like when we went to Sensoji Temple, everybody's chatting. Everybody's talking to each other. So I really think that was like a work kind of rush hour situation.
In a lot of those touristy areas, I definitely heard almost as much, if not more, Chinese than I heard Japanese.
Sure, there were a lot of foreigners there.
A lot of the talking came from the Chinese people, because let me tell you, Chinese people don't give no fucks about noise at all, right?
Sure.
So they're just yelling.
But there were definitely Japanese people talking to each other too.
But like, even just like, you know, the subways, no one talks to each other. Even in Akihabara, like, there's noise everywhere, like videos, TVs playing everywhere, but everyone walking around wasn't saying anything. when I was at the arcade, when I was at Hey Arcade, like every time I fought good players, I wanted to say good job to them, or after they beat me, I wanted to look at them like and like acknowledge oh you're super good. Like I told a Chun player, I was like, oh, very strong, and he just looked at me like he was like, don't talk to me, like he was just like didn't want to hear it. You know what I mean? It was really interesting. There's just like this weird dynamic. Although everyone, when they're like a person who works at a store, everyone's super friendly and everything, and I love that kind of aspect where everyone's super respectful to each other. You know, I really miss that a lot about Japan right now, is that just everybody was so nice and everyone's so respectful, friendly. The level of respect there is so high that everything is clean. You know, the public restrooms are super clean. It's ridiculous. You feel like you could eat off of the public restrooms, right? Like, it's ridiculous how clean everything is. And, like, there's just a lot about that country that, you know, you're even though people don't talk to each other, they're all very aware that the other people are there, and they respect each other very much. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I do miss that a lot. I really, really enjoyed that a lot.
Well, in talking with some of the other folks from Japan, and asking them, what should I go see? Categorically, the answer was, get out of Tokyo because this place is crappy. They all said, this is a business town. Yeah. They didn't like living there. It was solitary, and I don't know. I don't know how representative that city is of Japan. Is all I mean. Because from their response, it seemed like they were all like, you got to see Osaka. You got to go to the villages, whatever. This is not like Japan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
We only saw modern Japan.
We definitely saw mega city business Japan. Right, I feel
for
like
sure.
We walked through a little bit of tourist areas and stuff, but a lot of it, I think, was a particular, kind of business.
Yeah, I mean, I even managed to go to Shibuya Crossing a couple of times. Cool. I actually got to go there, and that place is just like everyone running around talking. There's a lot of tourist stuff going on there. But yeah, definitely people are talking, and once they start drinking, it's definitely a lot louder in that area and stuff like that. But, it's still a very solitary environment, which, I mean, to me, there's some good parts to it because I like eating by myself. Yeah. But the problem is when you do that in the States, you just look like a loser a lot of the times when you eat by yourself.
Again, right? I really think that was a business context. And I'm no expert, let me know if this is wrong, but when we had dinner and when we had lunch, I feel like there was quite a difference in who was eating with whom. Like at lunch, almost everybody was by themselves. When we had dinner, and it was like shortly after business hours, a lot of people were by themselves. But then when we ate later, like late, everybody was with people.
Yeah. So
or when we were at the mall, when I went to go a couple times during Evo to go eat at the food court there, everybody was with people.
Yeah. From what I had seen afterwards, there were definitely a lot of people eating by themselves, even very late at night. But it also, honestly, depends on the restaurant, too. Like, if you go to the Yoshinoya's or you go to, like, a lot of the ramen spots, a lot of the places where you can go, you order your food through a machine. You just go up to the machine, you put in a money, you pick what you want, it prints out a ticket, you hand it to people. I had to do that a bunch of times at a lot of different places. Those places are all very catered to the solitary kind of experience. A lot of people just walk up and buy a ticket out there and do that. So, yeah, even late at night, I was doing that. But then, like, I went to go eat with Marcus D and Matsun, and we went to an Italian place. And so I actually got to eat some Italian food there, which was, the spaghetti actually was really good. Yes. I just got plain spaghetti because I just wanted to see how it tasted. It was actually super good. But yeah, like that restaurant, there was a lot of groups of people talking there and stuff like that. It really depended on when we were in Shibuya, we went to the Ikanari Steaks, eat there, a lot of groups there as well. But then anytime I was like, let me go try this ramen place, or let me go try this, hey, I walked to this random place, let me go eat here. All those places always had people by themselves eating. It's very normal.
It's certainly much more common.
Yeah, it's very normal. There's no stigma attached to it like there is in the States, for sure. Yeah. So.
Like
dude, Japan had Italian food everywhere. They are obsessed with Italian food.
It's all over Tokyo. Yeah. By the way, my favorite meal the whole time I was there was Italian food. The pasta. I had spaghetti that had tuna daikon radish mix on the top, seaweed garnish, and garlic sauce. And that like mix of Japanese and Italian flavors was really unique. I'd never had anything like that.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's what made me like it so much. Everything was good, for sure, but I just thought like that was so unique that it's what I really liked about it.
It's funny because some people are like, I can't believe you had spaghetti instead of ramen. Dude, I had ramen 3 to 4 times while I was out there.
Definitely the first meal.
I had
was ramen.
We had ramen the first meal.
Yeah.
I went to the Kikambo place, which is one of Fudo's recommended places. That was the place I stood in line for 40 minutes to go eat ramen. That ramen might have been one of the best ramen I've ever eaten in my life. Then I went to eat a Tsukumen ramen that was recommended by Gerald. Dude, I had ramen everywhere. Then udon noodles. We had udon. I even went.
Super
good. So the place that we ate was a chain.
Oh, okay.
I ran into one again, and I was like, I really wanted what David had, and so I actually went there and I ordered. So trust. I had noodles all week long. I had so many. The reason why I got the spaghetti is because I had eaten so many Japanese noodles, and that was my third meal of the day because I had already eaten dinner. I didn't want to eat dinner, but Monson was like, come with us, and we went, and he was like, order something. I was like, okay.
For sure.
And so, I figured I could spare one meal on spaghetti.
I mean, it was spaghetti. Like, it was literally spaghetti noodles.
Yeah,
That kind of pasta, right? It was spaghetti.
Yeah.
It was just different other than that. Anyway, my experience in traveling internationally is that the things that, like, you notice things that sort of put into greater relief the things that you are also where you come from, but you don't notice because they're so common. So, yeah, like hearing my friends talk about how policemen stop them in the middle of the street to check their bags because they're black. Is like, wow, that's jarring. But then I think, cop murdered a guy like yesterday. It seems like there's a lot of sexism, but that also exists where we're from.
Right.
And people sure are quiet on the metro, but nobody talks on the LA metro really, unless they're,
Well, you're scared on the LA metro. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like the point is that I think a lot of the stuff exists where we are from, but. It's not easy to recognize the things that are around you constantly. And when you go see a new place, you are recognizing everything for the very first time. And so the things that jump out to you seem like they are like, wow, this is so different, but they exist where you're from. And I mean, not always. Obviously, cultures are different, but I think that's true for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, so. Yeah. But I mean, just
look in public buses. The people who talk are the weirdos. You don't want to sit next to them.
Right.
There is a stigma about talking on public buses, and some people break it. But there's definitely that stigma. Yeah.
But I mean, even in Japan, like you'll see two people who are clearly friends, and then they sit down next to each other on the bus, and then they don't talk.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely more. I don't mean to suggest it's the same.
Right. We got onto the train one time, and we were sitting down in front of like a group of like 15 schoolgirls, like just like 5, 6 years old or 7 years old.
The kids we were with me?
Oh, I guess they were a little older than that.
They were probably like 13, 14.
13, 14, okay. It's hard to tell with Asians, but but like they were whispering to each other. They weren't really talking very loudly to each other.
That's true. They were
would
quiet.
Sit down and be a little quiet, right?
Sure.
Which was kind of different.
No, I mean, again, it's not the same, but I feel like there's a lot of things that you notice that jump out to you as unusual, but they're not.
Right, exactly. So.
I really enjoyed it. It's not like it's not like my bucket list country. I don't know that I really have one, I guess, but it was certainly fascinating to go to. I wish that I'd been able to see more of the country because from all accounts, people there, Tokyo is so not representative of the rest of it. So I'd like to see the rest.
Yeah. I mean, some people were even talking that maybe the only place big enough to hold an Evo might be like Osaka, and if they move it to Osaka, that would be awesome because I definitely wanted to check out Osaka.
I'd love to, for sure.
But, I mean, Japan was on a bucket list for me. That was definitely something that I felt like I had to do.
Yeah.
And which is why I stayed there longer.
Sure.
And I just did so much stuff. And, oh, man, I got to do a lot of cool things afterwards. I did get to go to Nakano Broadway, which was like, Akihabara is kind of the tourist trap. So if you go buy figures there, they're all super expensive. Okay. You go all the place. Nakano Broadway, a lot of the same stores are out there, but they rent out little shops and things are much cheaper. So I definitely got something out there for like $18 that I saw in Akihabara for $40. Right?
That's a big difference.
So Dude, it's hard to find fighting game stuff, man.
Yeah.
Everything is Dragon Ball and One Piece and Gundam.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everything is just, like, I had a friend who was like, can you look for this One Piece character for me? And while I was walking on Nakano Broadway, I swear I took, like, at least 15 photos for her. Because I was just like, how about this figure? How about this figure? One character. By the way, there was, like, 15 different things that I could have gotten for that character. And, like, fighting game, I couldn't find anything. Like, I could barely find anything for fighting games. It was really crazy.
When I was walking around with you, the few fighting game things that we saw were, like, Guilty Gear. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a lot.
There was
There were, like, little Street Fighter, like, little tiny characters. Those little cute guys looking things.
Chibi
little
stuff.
chibi characters.
Everything Street Fighter related is also Street Fighter 2 related. Original Street Fighter 2.
Right.
Everything is original Street Fighter 2. But when I did go to Nakano Broadway, I did catch a bunch of things. I found like little keychains. I found these cool little metallic figures and stuff like that. I found a bunch of like really cool like little toys and stuff like that. I actually ended up buying a bunch of them because I'm going to give them out on stream. Because I just want to do giveaways a lot more on my stream, and just, you know, people don't have access to these things. So I was like, oh, I'll buy a lot of these things are like little, you know, $8 little figures or whatever like that. So, you know, so I did manage to get like a decent haul out of there. So, but I want to do my first giveaway on this stream.
Oh,
if I can.
Was it one of the many Star Wars figurines that were there also?
No, it was not.
Because there were lots.
Here you go, David.
What? Oh, that's so cool.
It's a tiny little metal dulcim if people can't actually see this.
Wow, thank you.
It's a little tiny dulcim. I saw this and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get this for David.
That's so nice.
There you go. So there's my first giveaway on stream right there.
Thanks, man. That's really nice.
Sorry, I accidentally bent the box a little bit
I'm
because
gonna
it was in my
that's
pocket.
Cool.
So there you go.
Thanks, dude.
Little,
that's so
little
cool.
Metallic dulcim figure. I also got a guile that I'll be giving away on stream.
Oh, rad.
So
sick, man. Thank you.
Yeah, so there you go. So there's a little Dulcim figure for you.
Well, I really
I know you
appreciate
didn't get any Street Fighter figures or anything like that, so I was like, I'll get you something there. So.
Nice of you, dude.
Rigged.
Yeah, definitely rigged.
100%.
Yeah.
That one was rigged. But I definitely have a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to give away during the course of the stream. Cool, I even got these cool like play mats from Frosty Faustings, so I'm going to be giving away a lot of things during the course of the year for my stream.
Nice.
So. But yeah, no, it was the Nakano Broadway was super cool. I got to visit the Final Fantasy 30th exhibition museum-ish kind of thing that was over there. That was super cool. I mean, it's interesting because you go there, they ask for your language, they give you an iPhone, and you put on a headset, and the iPhone detects where you're standing in the room. And based on where you're standing, so they would have like a Final Fantasy 12 display, a 13 display, and if you're standing in front of the 12 one, it would tell you about Final Fantasy 12. If you were standing in front of the 13 display, it would change and start telling you about 13. It's really cool, kind of buggy, because I would be sitting there listening to Final Fantasy 12. They're talking about it. I'd lean this way, and it would go, Final Fantasy 13. I'm like, no. I lean back, and it started all over from the beginning on 12. And I was like, oh, come on.
That sucks.
But they actually gave you a playlist at the end of it that will exist online, and they showed everything that you walk past, and you can actually go online and listen to all of it there. It took me everything in my power not to buy everything at the gift shop at the end of that. I had, seriously, at one point in time, I had like 7 things in my hand, and I put almost everything back because I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But that thing was super cool. It was just really cool to see a lot of the Final Fantasy stuff. They even recreated Eris's little flower thing with this light shining on it in the church, dude. It was really cool. It was cool to see all that stuff. I got to do that. I did get to visit an owl cafe and a cat cafe.
Okay.
The owl cafe, I am so torn over. I
kind of don't even want to hear about it.
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thing: is they're nocturnal animals.
Yes.
So I was there in the daytime.
Right.
They definitely looked like they did not want me to mess with them at all.
For sure.
But there was a sign that I saw that was like at 9 p.m. is like when they are not like it was. They said it was like free flight time or something. So I guess that time is not when they're tied down or whatever like that. But
are they tied down usually?
Yes.
I can't even
and like literally I like tried to pet one of the owls, right? And like it kind of shuffled to the side and then started pecking at the strap that was on its leg, and I was just like,
all right, next topic.
I was like, I can't do this, dude. Like,
I would have walked straight out of there. Holy crap!
It was like I was more observing it, but then the lady grabbed one of them, unstrapped it, and like took it to the back and was like taking pictures and doing stuff with it, and it seemed perfectly content. But I don't know, like I could not enjoy myself there. I literally could not enjoy myself.
No.
The Cat Cafe, however.
That's fine.
Cat Cafe, poof, 180.
Sure. As long as they're the kind of cats that like it, because those exist.
Dude, the
thumbs
cats, they all look like they were in heaven.
Yeah.
They were just in eternal bliss.
Good.
Even to the point where there's a lady walking around like clipping their nails and combing them, and they're just like...
That's
and
good.
like there was a cat that was just lying there, and I have a video of it. I start rubbing it, and it turns up its belly so I can scratch its belly. There's cats sleeping on all these things everywhere, and I was petting all the cats and everything like that. Oh, it was like I spent way more time there than I intended to.
Yeah.
I definitely was like, I'll be here for like 30 minutes petting. I was there for like maybe an hour and 15 minutes or something like that, because you just... And it's funny, too, because they provide consoles and books and everything. They're trying to get you to stay there because they charge you off of time.
Oh, I was going to ask. Okay, yeah.
They charge you off of time. It's like every 10 minutes they charge you or whatever
Wow.
like that. But they always have free drinks. Like that one, it's like you have to buy a drink, but there's just a vending machine that just gives you free drinks.
Oh.
So whether you take advantage of it or not, you still pay for a drink. But you could just go there and just like pump out drinks as much as you want. Even one of them had like corn soup that you could like pour out if you really wanted to, which I didn't get. I just kept getting hot chocolates and stuff like that because it was a rainy day.
Right.
But dude, some of those cats, like, oh man, some of those cats, like they had some beautiful cats there.
Aww.
And they were, I have like 700 photos.
I'm
going to put them all up at some point in time. But dude, the Cat Cafe was like a complete 180. Like I felt no guilt.
Sure. I'd be happy there too.
The cats all running around. They're not tied down to anything. They seem super happy, and dude, like the workers are just running around. They're wiping everything constantly, so it didn't even smell. Like cats don't smell, but there was no litter scent or anything like that. But it was like it was really, really cool. It was really good. Dude, the diet, dude, trust me, Japan messed up my diet pretty badly. Yeah, it definitely messed up my diet. So no, we didn't go to Cat Island. But that was really cool.
Did you end up going to a maid cafe or anything like that?
No, I can't do maid cafes.
Same.
Maid cafes are almost as awkward to me as probably that owl cafe.
I'd feel mega weird the whole time.
Yeah, I had to do the owl cafe because I needed to see it for myself. You know what I mean? I had to check it out for myself. And, you know, I did get to pet a couple of owls and stuff like that, which was cool. But like I said, it just didn't feel right.
God.
But then, obviously, so food there was ridiculous. Like, I would just look up something.
All food was good.
Oh, okay. So I go there, pay $8 for this bowl with, like, 3 meats and, like, rice. And it was, like, that was probably one of my favorite meals there. Like, that and maybe the curry that we ate with Edma. But that's because I really love that Ofu-style curry. Dude, the food, it's like anywhere I was at, I was just like, let me walk 5 minutes in a random direction, and there it is.
Yeah, totally. It's everywhere. And what was cool is that it's not just actual restaurants, but like 7-Eleven is legit place for food. They get delivered food, and then they like chill it, but you reheat it, and I had ramen there one night, and it was super good. Super good ramen. I had chicken... curry there one night, and it was also really good. Yeah. And their baked goods were really good.
Dude, the pastries there. Because the thing is, everything in Japan...
Pretty legit.
I mean, people have always said if MSG is truly bad for you, everyone in Japan would be dead, right? I mean, because they put MSG in everything in Japan. But as a result, you know, the food is very salty, right? Because MSG is just an alternate kind of form of salt. And true story, the person who said that MSG is bad for you and causes cancer... did a study on MSG, and he found no results, and he didn't want to have no results, so we made that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so MSG is actually not bad for you. It does cause a thing where like you can make your mouth feel kind of weird or whatever like that, but it's not bad for you. It's not bad for you. There's nothing bad for you about MSG. But like, you eat all the salty food there, and so like every time I was in the 7-Eleven, I had to get like one of those pastries, and like that egg cake thing was so good.
That was very good.
Oh my God. Look,
agreed.
I ate so many damn pastries from 7-Eleven, it wasn't even funny, dude. Like, everything was so good there.
It was really good. We didn't go to Capcom or Bamco headquarters, but as I was walking around one day, I did see the Bandai headquarters. I saw the building.
Cool.
Oh, actually, no, did you? I should ask. Did you end up going to the Bandai headquarters?
No, I did not.
Okay,
I did not. I never got a chance to go. So,
Yeah.
But we definitely went karaoke a bunch of times.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I went karaoke, and again, I know like you're always scared every time I try to sing
Yes.
or whatever like that. But like Steve's girlfriend, right? Like I was singing a song, and she just looked at me and she was like, "Damn, you can really sing."
Good stuff. What a sport.
Okay. Still don't know why, dude. We're gonna go karaoke one day.
Gotta look at her bar tab, see how deep she was at the time.
Damn, dude. So mad, dude. But no, also, but honestly, what was the last thing I want to mention? Well, dude, the 7-Elevens, the Famvimas, and the Lawsons, like you can't walk like 2 feet without running into one of those things. Those things are everywhere.
Those are definitely all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have like I didn't want to do the hang out and play video games thing in Japan, and I don't care about, what I wanted to see was history.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I cared about. So, James and I walked around a little bit, and we saw some historical stuff. We saw the Imperial Castle grounds and where Edo Castle used to be burned down.
So, I mean, thanks to you, I got to see a lot of the history stuff.
Yeah.
I did go see the Sky Tree eventually because we had been to all the other towers. But by the time I got there, the weather was so bad that I literally couldn't see anything.
Oh, okay.
You just looked out the window, it was just fog. That was it. Like, the only way you could see something is if you, like, really lean down, you could see little bits of lights and stuff like that. So I'll run it back, but I'm just glad that I got to go in there. And
no, it's a very interesting place. The observation point is from 1,500 feet up in the sky. Pretty sick.
Yeah.
So I saw that. I went to go see you went with me to Sensoji Temple, which is like a very old Shinto temple.
I even got to do the little incense thing.
You did the thing. That was so cool. Yeah. Then I went to go see the Meiji Shrine to the Meiji Emperor, which is really cool. Beautiful grounds, forest, and just fantastic architecture. And I happened to see Hogan from Red Bull there, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
And I mean, I wanted to go see two museums. One of them was closed. Unfortunately, it's going to be closed for a couple of months.
Oh, okay.
So it just was, not the right time. As I was walking to that place, I walked by a sumo wrestling arena.
Interesting.
I guess.
Okay.
And it turns out that they have their sumoing on Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know about exclusively on Sunday, but it occurs on Sunday. Yeah. And man, I really wish that I had known that in advance. That would have been so sick. But tickets were sold out.
But see, here's the interesting thing. Sumo kind of has that problem too, where it's like, I don't know if I want to support it because it's pretty shady. It's like all Yakuza'd up. And
for real?
And like the way the seasons work, there's teams, and so they'll throw matches to each other to like promote other. Like there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in
idea.
Sumo. Yeah. But honestly, my favorite thing that I did in Japan was Hey Arcade, Tenyen, ST. Because I went back twice. So we were there very briefly, and I definitely did not win any games there because I hate Chun-Li. That matchup is so bad. But like...
And then I basically wanted to leave.
Yeah, and then you wanted to eat, so I was like, okay, fair enough. But I went back a couple of times. In fact, the second time I went back there, I had no intention of going back there.
Oh, okay.
I just happened to be in Akihabara, and I was trying to, like, visiting all the stores, and I wanted to see if I could buy a couple of other things. I was hunting for... That was when I walked into the porn store by accident, because I was hunting the magazine for Tupperware and everything like that, and I just walked by Hey, and I was like, God damn it, and I turned it and walked it and played. But like the first day I went there, Matsun and Nakamura showed up because people told them that I was going to be there. And
really?
Like that. So I ended up having dinner with Matsun. Marcus D was out there. He did a lot of the translation for me.
Okay.
And did you see the tweet that I had? Like when we were all eating dinner, it was me, Marcus, and Matsun. Like we started talking about guns in America. Because like Matsun was like, does every family in America own a gun? Because that's what we hear, that every family has a gun in America. And I was like, that's actually not true, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I asked him, I was like, what's the gun law in Japan like? Like, how does that work? And Matsun's answer was basically, it's like, Japan cannot have guns. He's like, cannot have guns because if everybody had a gun, we would shoot all the claw players.
Okay, that's good, yeah.
I was like, okay, fair. Matsun's actually a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
He's actually a pretty humorous guy. But, it was super cool. There's a guy there named Kamaraya who was a Ken player. They called him Sweep Master because he just landed sweeps like ridiculous.
Okay.
he like landed on everybody, and apparently he's the guy who taught Daigo footsies.
Oh, dang.
He's the guy who actually showed Daigo how to play footsies. It was interesting.
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah, and it's weird because knowing that, I was able to actually fight him pretty decently because I was noticing how he was sweeping everybody.
Yeah.
He was just so good at walking up and sweeping out of nowhere. So when I got to that range, I would just stick out low forward, and he would walk into my low forward a lot
funny,
and
dude.
stuff like that. So it was crazy because that first day, I started winning a lot more. Like I actually won a bunch of matches. Like Nakamura fought a guy and lost. Nakamura, of course, being one of the greatest camis in Japan. And then I would play that guy and beat him.
Dang.
I'd be like,
yeah, for sure.
Okay. I was like,
Feel yourself.
yeah, I was actually feeling
Definitely.
happy. But even when I fought Kamaraya, when I fought Matsun, like they beat me most of the time, but like I would always get super close. And I would always lose to some stupid Kami thing. Like I drained Matsun down to no life. I had 80% of my life. He knocked me down once, and then he jumped to cross up, and Kami's guess time for cross up, and I guessed the wrong way, and he stunned me, and I died. So I was like, wonderful. But yeah, like, dude, the next day then I went and played, and like a Chun-Li player was beating me really badly again. But then towards the end of the day, I beat him 3 in a row to end because I just started picking up new things. Like you can't not get better when you're playing that fight.
Sure.
But there was a fail. So I had always believed Kami Fei Long was like even. But I fought this Fei Long player who just destroyed me.
Okay, sick.
He would do a meaty chicken wing, and there was nothing I could do about it. If I uppercut, she would uppercut and miss, and then he would punish, or sometimes he would start to uppercut and then get hit, cross up by the chicken wing, and he would combo and everything, and he was destroying everybody. He never missed a chicken wing.
Okay.
He's like, chicken wing, chicken wing, chicken wing, chicken wing. I was like, this guy is ridiculous. And so at one point in time, I was just like, oh, Fei Long, very strong, very strong. And he actually was like, oh, cool, thank you. He was actually very nice about it and everything.
Yeah.
And then I was playing a little bit, and he walked up to me, and he pointed to a tweet from a Japanese player. He's like, you James Chen? And I was like, yes. He's like, oh, my English not good. I know you, though, and everything like that. So I was talking to him and everything. And then he was like, oh, my name is Kuros. And I was like, Kuros, huh? Okay. And I didn't make that connection
gotcha.
until afterwards. I was tweeting about him. Like, I met this player named Kuros, and I was like, maybe Cross? And then I was like, shit, I totally know. I commentated some of the... He's like one of the 2 greatest Fei Longs in Japan, like him and Koemon. And I was like, oh my God, it's Cross,
That's
of course. Funny. And so, yeah, now I don't feel so bad getting destroyed by him. But to be fair, towards the end, I started doing better against him. Like, I wasn't falling for a lot of the things.
Very nice.
I would come really close to beating him. In fact, I did beat him one or 2 times. And so he actually said my Kami was good. I don't know if he was being nice.
You know.
But, it was...
That's cool, dude.
What a great experience playing ST there, dude. Like, that is easily by far the thing I'm going to miss the most. That's good. Dude, I don't know what any of the players look like. I have no idea what any of... Like, when I saw Nakamura, I wouldn't have been able to pick him out because I have no idea what he looks like. Someone had to point him out to me and everything like that. So
definitely.
But, yeah.
You can just walk into places and there's porn, but it's, like, usually in the basement from my limited experience. It seemed like it was in the basement. Not always in the basement?
Not always. Okay.
So.
But, yeah, it was really, really cool. It was really cool that the ST stuff was... I had so much fun playing that. Like,
if I had stayed there for another week, I definitely would have played video games, for sure.
Dude, and
I just didn't want to spend my 5 days
there. Yeah, of course. And the craziest part was 10 yen, which is 10 cents. So basically, like, I played like 30 games. It was like $3.
That's pretty sick, I gotta say.
And it was just off the Suica card. You're just like, beep,
right.
beep. And it was so much fun. Oh, I had so much fun playing that. That's like 100% the thing I miss the most right now is being able to play there for that. So, although it's funny because Matsun was making fun of the controllers there. He was like cheap cost, but also cheap controllers. Like he didn't like the controllers there and everything like that. It's really funny. But yeah, oh man. Yeah, exactly. I've never seen anybody's faces. It has nothing to do with the... Like, they didn't look the same at all. Like, I've just never seen them.
Right.
I've never legit ever seen their faces, so...
Yeah, you're not saying everybody looks the same.
That's the crazy thing, too. So, Primo Freak says he misses arcades. I hadn't had that feeling in forever.
Yeah.
Walking up to an arcade cabinet to play people I've never seen before, and I got those old-school arcade butterflies.
I know what you mean.
And I haven't had that feeling in forever, and it was so great just to have that feeling again. God, it was so much fun.
I didn't have any nostalgia from the arcades there. They're just so different.
Oh yeah.
It didn't make me feel in any respect like how arcades felt.
Right, the arcades are different
for us. Like my arcade experiences were very different than what arcades look like in Akihabara. I don't know how they are in the rest of the place, but like big vertical buildings that contain, each level is like a different kind of genre, more
and
or
it's
less.
Listed in the elevator most of the time too.
Yeah. And then it's giant, and I don't know. It wasn't an experience that I like. It didn't make me wish for the old days in any way. It didn't make me think like, oh, I missed this, because I'd never seen that.
Right.
It was very different.
I mean, honestly, I didn't get that feeling from the arcades. I got that feeling when I sat down and played.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And that's a completely different nostalgia that I was getting. I wasn't getting nostalgia for the old school arcades. I was getting nostalgia for actually playing in the old arcades against strangers that I didn't know before.
Yeah. But you're not hearing any like Marvel 2 Storm. That wasn't there. Why?
There was Marvel 2 machines.
There was actually a Marvel 2 machine.
There was.
That's true.
So I saw someone.
There was like, it was some super janky team. It was like Dan,
like
Tron,
Colossus or something like
it was
that.
just some stupid whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's different than a tournament. It's different than a tournament. Because,
it is different than a tournament.
Because a tournament is like, oh, I'm going to be out of the tournament, or, oh, these guys. Like, when you're in an arcade and you sit down, it's just like anyone, you don't know anything, and like the stakes are not as big, but there's still this respect that you want to earn in the arcade, which is different. Because at tournaments,
different feeling.
You go 0-2, you'll never see these guys again. But like when you go to an arcade, you play these guys, you may see them for the next few weeks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every time you go to the arcade or whatever, it's just such a different feeling. It is a different feeling.
I agree.
So, yeah. Man.
I don't know which Tron assist it was. We didn't stay and watch. So.
But yeah, I'm excited. I would love to go back. And, oh, God, it's crazy. So the last few days I stayed at an Appa hotel, which are pretty cheap.
What is that?
They're just tiny little hotels that, like, you can get depending on how busy it is. Like, the one that I stayed at was in Ningyocho that I just walked to.
Yeah.
It was advertised for, like, $40 a night. And then by the time I booked it, it was $60 because I'm an idiot because I just waited too long, right? But, like, it's actually pretty cheap.
Even so, that's quite cheap.
Yeah, and the hotel, honestly, was adequate enough. It's tiny, don't get me wrong, but, like, for not being in there and, like, being outside all the time. But then someone pointed out to me that, like, there's, like, this weird, crazy controversy with those hotels. And I was like, really? So I read about it. And basically, at one point in time, they started putting propaganda books in the hotel that talked about how the Nanking massacre was fabricated.
Wow.
Yes.
It's like right-wing propaganda hotel?
Yeah, where they basically said that, like,
what?
You know, Japan going in China and slaughtering thousands and thousands of people didn't actually happen.
Right.
And so now, like, I don't know if I can stay there anymore. I honestly don't know if I can stay there anymore.
There's actually right-wing nationalist hotels.
Yeah.
That's, wow.
Yeah.
What an idea.
And that was crazy to me. I didn't know. I booked it, and I tweeted out. I was like, I stayed at an Appa hotel. Someone's like, you should read about the controversy. I was like, what controversy? And I read it, and I was like, dang it. I don't think I can stay here ever again.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah. That's crazy. Dude, I seriously looked it up. That's like, you can look it up right now. Just look up Appa Hotel and then look up controversy. That's all I typed in because he didn't tell me what the controversy was. It's the Appa Hotel, APA Hotel controversy, and there's whole articles about it. So,
yeah. I just now I'm imagining somebody from Japan coming to the US and staying in a hotel, and then somebody coming back and being like, hey, I stayed in like Motel 6, and people being like, you know, they're trying to push Jesus on you. You ever the Bible in every single...
Right. Dude, I'm just scared for everyone in Japan who comes to America and goes to a 7-Eleven.
Oh, what a disappointment. Man, 7-Eleven has a bank there.
Well, the bank company bought out 7-Eleven.
It's called 7 Bank.
It's 7 and I Holdings. Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, literally that company bought it. And so that's why... And I guess 7-Eleven has roots in Japan.
Oh, really?
I guess.
Is it from Japan? And
I'm not sure. Like,
are we totally backwards here?
Because I thought it was America, then went to Japan. But like when my brother pointed out like an article, I started reading the Wikipedia. It sounds like there's like a lot of the roots are in Japan.
That's so funny. While we were in Japan, I legit made that joke. I was like, man, I bet Japanese people think that 7-Eleven came from Japan. They'd be surprised it's in the U.S. and a piece of crap in the U.S. But actually, I'm the wrong one.
It might be. I'm not sure 100%. You can do the research.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Like, figure it out. Yeah. So, but yeah, dude, 7-Eleven is the most amazing store.
According to Burning Pyre, Japan, 7-Eleven is Japanese owned, not originally from Japan, but they bought it years ago.
So they bought even the American company of it, and now they own the whole thing, basically.
I see.
Yeah. Okay.
I see.
Yeah, convenience stores are serious business because, like I said, you could not walk. Like, anytime I was anywhere, it's interesting, too, because, like, at all the places that I ate lunch, I never got soda with it because I always knew I could take 2 steps and buy a Coke from the store afterwards. You know what I mean?
Sure. There's also vending machines constantly.
Yeah, oh yeah.
By the way, vending machines sell hot drinks. Wow. I couldn't believe it. When I was walking around to Sumo Temple and whatever, Sumo Arena. Anyway, it was really cold that morning. It never got above 40 until the last day I was there. So it was like freezing and below most of the time. And I wanted a coffee, but there was no coffee shops on the way that I was walking. And so I kept seeing these vending machines that sell coffee, but I was like, I don't want a cold coffee.
You don't want iced coffee? Yeah.
I can't handle that right now. It's like 25 degrees outside. So I finally did it. Finally got a coffee. And I was fully expecting it to be frozen, but no, it came out piping hot, like a can. Piping hot coffee. And really good.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, man. Yeah.
I don't mean like it was a kind of coffee machine where it like pours out. It wasn't like that. It was like it comes in a can, like a Red Bull can kind of thing. And the can itself is hot.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But not so hot that you can't hold it. It's like really nicely done.
That's crazy. Okay. But yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of cool things about Japan. Like I said, last day I was there, it started snowing, so I got to walk through the snow. It also rained when I was there, so you saw the umbrellas came out.
Did you ever see Mount Fuji?
I did not see Mount Fuji, no.
Man, the whole time that I was there, it was too cloudy. There was one day where it was really bright and nice, but that was tournament day.
Right.
So I couldn't go sightseeing, unfortunately.
Dude, vending machines are definitely not a joke in Japan. Like, dude, one of my favorite images that I saw, though, was that at one of the 7-Elevens, you can tell, because 7-Eleven is a convenience store. You buy things that you need in emergencies or you just might kind of impulse buy or whatever. But I took a picture of a section of there where there was a column with a whole bunch of cards for Nintendo 3DS games. Right? Like, you could just buy them and then enter the code in and you could get the game there. And right next to that, just a giant, like 4 shelves worth of dress shirts.
In 7-Eleven?
In 7-Eleven.
Yeah. And
I just thought that was the most interesting juxtaposition and contrast to what... So it's like, that's the emergency kind of thing. Because if you're a businessman in Japan and you're walking around and you spill coffee on yourself...
Yeah, okay.
You're like, shit, I need a new shirt. You just run to the 7-Eleven and you buy a shirt.
Okay.
Like, they sell dress shirts in 7-Eleven.
And you get a new Nintendo game while you're there.
Or if you want a Nintendo game, you could buy... Like, it was weird to see, like, here's this gaming thing, but here's this business thing in the 7-Eleven. I just thought it was really fascinating to me.
I bought an entire gallon of 50 proof sake from 7-Eleven. It was in a milk carton looking container.
Jesus, okay.
And it was a gallon. And it was under $10 USD. Dang, it was crazy. It was so much.
Under $10?
Yeah. It was like 980 yen or something.
Yeah, it's weird because like
it was super tasty.
Everyone always talks about how expensive Japan is, and I feel like you could actually live there for pretty cheap if you do it right.
The housing situation is quite expensive.
Yeah,
but food and drink and whatever, transportation.
Taxi. Oh, I had to
don't take a taxi.
I had to do it one time and it was not good. And then also like when we all went karaoke, that was super expensive as well. But like, if you just go there and go like to the random ramen shops, the random donbari shops, and just get small... Yoshinoya was amazing.
That was actually better.
Yeah, Yoshinoya was really good. If you just eat those places like that, you can... Yoshinoya, you can get a rice bowl, a decent-sized rice bowl for $5. $5.50. You just do that. No tip. Just get it and walk away. So
by transportation, I mean the metro. The metro's like $1.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
So Japan
$2
is... Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I thought. I thought Japan was super expensive to live in. And when I went there, I discovered that it's not. That you can live there for very cheap and eat the most ridiculous amount of foods. And let me tell you this. I've only been back a couple of days. And every place that I've eaten so far, I have felt way too full afterwards. Like, I actually really enjoyed the portion sizes of Japan a lot. So...
no, I didn't finish that whole sake. That was I brought that to the tournament,
of course,
and shared it with a bunch of friends, and then lost it because basically the security came in, and they were like, "It's not allowed." And I tried to play like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I had no idea," whatever. So I like.
Ignorant gaijin.
Sorry, I've never been to a fighting game tournament. I don't know how these go.
I have no idea. Okay.
Yeah, so I hightailed it out of there, and I got lost as I was like walking away. So.
Okay.
Let's talk about pooping.
Well, before we get to that, I just want to say that obviously my experiences too are going to be biased by the fact that I am in SoCal, and you can't walk anywhere in SoCal. Like,
so I can walk to where I happen to live, but that's very rare.
Right. And I saw you tweet about that, and like literally that night I had a dream. Like I was at your place, and I was like, I'm going to go walk to one of these restaurants.
Yeah.
And, like,
I mean,
it was a weird dream.
That's
but,
like two blocks in any direction.
Yeah. But obviously, for me, it's not like that here in Santa Monica. So, like, I was definitely spoiled by a lot of stuff in Japan that you can do in New York just as easily.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, there are some places in Santa Monica where you can do that as well. But again, it's rare.
Yeah.
Like if you live near 3rd Street or whatever. But again, rare.
Pooping.
Yeah, it was great. Great experience. No, I mean, it's just like every single toilet has the full heated seat, bidet, dryer.
Not everyone had the dryer.
Oh yeah, all the ones that I tried had the dryer, and they all had something that was called like power deodorizer, like something like that.
Whoa, okay.
Which I never used, so I don't know. Maybe I should have a couple of times. It's just they are into that, and it's like they all have at minimum. Like the techno toilets, even maybe not all dryer, I guess, but they all have fancy stuff at least. So.
Do they? And like instead of having the little paper thing that you actually put around the ring, like all the public bathrooms that I went to just have this little thing that you pull out the toilet paper and you spray on it, and it puts a cleaning lotion on there, and you actually clean the rim. Like that's what you're supposed to do, like in those toilets over there. Yeah,
makes sense.
But it's crazy because like you go to a public bathroom in the United States, and like these are the grossest things imaginable because just no one cares, right? Like you just pee everywhere or whatever like that. But like everyone in Japan was like super clean and everything like that. It was just like. It was ridiculous that, again, there's that respect thing. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't do that when you're in Japan. You just clean everything and just make sure everything is super clean. And, the toilet seats are all heated.
They're heated. Oh, man.
The heating.
And again, it was under freezing for a lot of the time. Yeah, so that was pretty sick.
Heating thing was definitely nice. That was definitely nice. So, oh, man. It was, those toilets.
Yeah, Weijin 123, I did the same thing. Went to use the toilet early in the morning. It's cold outside. I figured my butt was about to freeze off. No. It's great. Sat down and quite pleasant. It was like more, it was warmer there than it was anywhere else.
Yes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pooping was definitely a whole nother experience.
It was an upgrade.
In Japan.
It was an upgrade.
And dude, even the Airbnb we're staying at is genius. But like when you flush the toilet, instead of filling the toilet bowl normally, there's a faucet on the top of the toilet that sprays water down there, so you can just rinse your hands real quick, off of there. And so you're just using one source of water. I don't know. I thought that was also pretty genius too.
I agree with you.
A lot of smart stuff there. So.
I wonder how much those toilets cost.
Must be a lot, dude.
Are they? Because they're just in so many different...
Yeah.
Like everybody has them.
By the time it gets to that point where they're easier to mass produce, they've probably lowered in prices. It's the whole argument that I've always had about houses, right? Like I feel like houses would be so much more technologically advanced if there was a commercial impetus for them to design things at better mass productions and stuff like that. But we're still living in the Stone Ages.
Super suburb.
Yeah, I still feel like we're living in the Stone Ages when it comes to houses and stuff like that. Like, so like you compare the advancement of cars versus houses, And like cars now drive themselves, they can park
Yeah.
themselves. They've got like crazy all this stuff in houses. Like we're still
my houses don't go anywhere.
we're still walking around and manually turning on light switches in every room and stuff like that. You know, like how like what is going on? But it's because there's no reason for them to develop higher technology because that makes the house more expensive. And there's no commercial competition when you sell houses and buy houses and build houses, so it's always the cheapest
Kind of
way.
a weird market.
Yeah, it's a strange market because like if Toyota and Honda, like if you bought a lot of land and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go shop at Toyota for my house, and then they build it for you. God, the technologies that would come with your house would be ridiculous. But then the problem is if you move, you can't take that house with you. You can't always buy a house on an empty plot of land. So, you know, it's just a very different thing. So houses are super antiquated, in my opinion. So,
well, yeah.
That's a whole other story. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, they were cool. Toilets, I'm sure you can buy that stuff here in the U.S. In fact, I've seen toilets in the U.S. that have bidets. It's not unknown to me, but it's super, super rare. What a line. We have heated toilets, but it's Congress and the White House. Oh. Genius. What a line. Yeah, I had a good time. It was a nice country to visit. I wish I had seen more of it, but I just didn't have much time. And I would like to go back.
Yeah, for sure. And have more than 2 weeks' notice so that we could plan it out a little bit better. Yeah. Thankfully, I had already known about Arcadium, a.k.a. Carl. You know, he streams Super Turbo every Monday night, but he's a professional pet sitter by trade. And so he took care of my cats while I was gone. And he was above and beyond because it's his profession and stuff like that. So shout outs to him. Shout outs to Carl.
That's awesome.
Honestly. So.
The Wi-Fi was nice. I carried around a pocket Wi-Fi all the time I was there. It was, I think, like $9 a day for unlimited Wi-Fi, unlimited bandwidth, which was great. You know, I just used it like normal. And it was nice and fast the whole time. I never did like a speed test or anything, but it was good enough for whatever I was doing.
Hey, I was leeching off of you a bunch of times, and it was great.
It was made for 5 devices. So there was a period of time when you were on it, my phone was on it, and my tablet was on it, and it was totally fine. So it was awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it worked everywhere. It worked underground,
dude.
In the metro.
When I went to the Appa Hotel, like I had a Skype call with somebody because off of their Wi-Fi, because someone wanted to like talk to me about like Evo Japan or something like that. I did download speed tests. The speed was ridiculous in the hotel. Like the hotel Wi-Fi was actually super fast. Like what a concept having good internet infrastructure in your country, you know.
Sounds nice.
Honestly, obviously the country is much smaller, so they don't have to do as much, but still, God, the US infrastructure for internet is so bad.
We could do a lot better.
Yeah, Japanese games all have terrible netcode because their internet is amazing.
I have heard that, yeah.
Yeah,
like not even joking. I've heard that's part of the reason.
Yeah.
Well,
there's probably a few more things, but I don't want to keep going. We've been going on this for a long time.
Been rambling for a while. So, it was definitely a fun place.
Yeah.
I just wish that, again, I had been able to get out of Tokyo and that...
Yeah. I really want to go to Osaka. I really want to visit there.
I don't know. For sure. But I just don't know enough to know what I would want to see.
Would you go to a bathhouse? Would you ever go to a bathhouse in Japan?
What does that entail?
That's just basically like a giant spa place for everybody, except you're just naked and you just go into the spas and with everybody else.
Yeah, there's like particular connotations of bathhouse.
Oh, not that kind. Like an actual, like
you're there to bathe.
Yeah, to bathe and just sit in steamed water and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Is that weird?
Just curious. That's all.
When I was younger in college, I dated a girl from Finland, and she would tell me about how they had Finnish bathhouses, which are quite famous. I've heard of them previously, and they would all go and just like hang out. Oh, everybody's naked. And it was like the weirdest thing. She was trying to explain how it was totally cool to go with all of her high school friends, boys and girls, to the bathhouse, and they're all naked. And it was like, no big deal. And I was like, I would explode if I was the guy and cute girl, like my crush is like they're just naked, I would explode.
Right.
Like when I was like 14. But
it's U.S. Right?
She was telling that's the normal for them. You know,
the
so
U.S. is
for us, it's not.
So. Oh man, interesting. Okay, bathe in salt and tea. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we definitely have a more restrictive culture when it comes to that kind of stuff than many places. That's for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of Wookiee-like, I suppose.
That's why the dryer was particularly important on the toilets for you, right? So.
Let me tell you, those bidets only cause more problems if there's not a dryer in there. It's only worse.
Oh man. Evo lineup is going to be announced tomorrow. Not sure the time of day. I thought we talked about Michigan Masters a few weeks ago.
I feel like we did, no?
Yeah, April 14th through 15th, so that's coming up. So, which tournament announcement did we miss, Curly W, besides Michigan Masters? Which one? Curly W talked about it earlier. Michigan Masters. I thought we did talk about that.
That's what I thought too, but apologies if not.
Yeah, okay. It's in Michigan in April, run by the YASC boys. So there you go. So yeah, that's going to be taking place in April. So, it wasn't announced till now? Okay.
I put together a big doc for myself of all of the upcoming tournaments for the entire year in the whole world that have been announced, and it took like a long time.
Right.
Because there's not like one obvious easy spot for it.
Dude, I saw Rick, the Hado, was doing the same thing. He was trying to put his own document together.
Yeah, he definitely helped me out with that.
Oh, cool. Okay,
I used some of his resources for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, the FGC in Michigan's actually pretty strong, I believe.
They have a scene for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of strong players out there. A lot of Detroit players. That's where Wolf Crone is from. You know, the Corn Boys. A lot of them are out there from there.
Yeah, so. There's an Ann Arbor scene. I know they have more than that.
Yep.
Well, what would you say was the most shocking thing you noticed while you were in Japan?
The most shocking thing I noticed, huh?
People didn't lock their bikes.
Yeah, that was that.
So people just rode their bike and they stopped wherever they wanted to, up against the wall, not
right,
in the middle of the road.
Or were parking spaces.
In a bike spot. But yeah, they just walked away.
Yeah, they just stood there, set it up, walked
out of here.
Yeah, that was actually probably one of the more shocking.
That was wild to me.
Yeah,
Dude, my girlfriend's bike was stolen from our garage in our apartment.
Yeah.
Like somebody broke into the garage and then also busted her bike lock. Like there's multiple steps to go through.
Right.
And that happened. But in Japan, in Tokyo, there it is.
Yeah, everyone's saying like in America, your bike would be gone.
No, I'm telling you, like you can't keep it. Like we literally keep her bike now in our apartment.
Right.
We can't trust the garage.
Yeah.
And I'm not in like a crappy area. You know, it's just how it is.
Yeah, that was probably one of the more intense, like shocking things. It was just like they don't have a bike theft problem.
Right, because like it implies more. Right.
Yeah.
It implies that there's more, like not just bikes that people aren't stealing. It's like if they're not stealing bikes, they're probably not stealing other stuff.
We even started asking, like, do they even lock their cars?
I wanted to know, and I didn't find out.
Yeah, we could have probably tried, but that was actually pretty crazy. So
yeah, girlfriend, crazy. Maybe not for long though.
Excited. Or I should just go. Okay. Bike theft isn't that uncommon in Japanese cities, huh? Interesting. Okay. All right.
Anyway.
I have nothing else to add to that for now. Let me look through my pictures, see if there's anything crazy. If I have any pictures here of crazy things that I want to talk about. Dude, the pastries stuff there was so good.
Man,
when I was in Nakano Broadway, like there was just this place that I just walked by it. It's just the most amazing, like, baked pastry good smell. And I was like, and I got it. It's literally like pancakes with custard in there. Like, they cooked it right there.
Okay, yeah, they had
warm
good food.
And fluffy. And
they definitely had good food, that's for sure.
Man, it was so good. Look at this, dude. I mean, that is...
It's a cat.
Hi,
kitty cat.
It's such a pretty cat. No. You can't see it, but it's got like the little jaguar spots on it.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
Little orange boy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but you know what? After I got home, my cats have not left me alone, basically. They have just been sleeping on me everywhere that I go.
I hear you.
They've been following me everywhere, so yeah, it's been super happy to be home for that reason. So
that's a big part of why I wanted to get home earlier.
Oh yeah, that's the other last thing I'll probably mention is just that, well, two things, right? One, when we ate at that sushi place, probably just tell that story. You remember I mentioned we were watching Guilty Gear Top 8, and the waiter came by and was like, oh, Guilty. And he was like, oh, Evo. And then he looked at you and me and was like, oh, YouTube. Yeah. And then he started like bowing to us. It was actually kind of funny. It was
actually how it went.
Funny.
Yeah. And then we left, and we happened to
pass by it again.
We passed by it again because we like took the wrong direction, I guess. Mm-hmm. And got his picture.
Yeah, you were like, let's take a picture with him. And that was a good call because he was super happy about it.
He definitely was.
He was
yeah, I was happy about it too.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Exactly.
That's actually a good question. Did you say U2 or YouTube? YouTube?
Oh, that's a good question.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But also another thing too that I wanted to mention was that, man, so Transformers, because I'm a big Transformers fan, and there's Transformers stuff everywhere over there. And God, like, if I was collecting Transformers, I'd be dead.
That's
right
Fancy
now.
Town.
I would have been so dead. I would have spent so much money.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
There was definitely a lot of very old school classic toys there that were selling for a lot. And I was just like, God, I want to buy all these things.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some of them. They definitely look cool.
Yeah. I took a bunch of pictures from the Nakano Broadway place. So there's this, like Computron, and oh God, there's all these cool things. I did not pick up.
Yeah, he probably said YouTube. That's fun. It's funny. Curly W, where the streets have no name. It's a good reference. Speaking of U2, because also the way that Japan does addresses, most streets don't have names. Instead, what they label is the block itself. So
and the building,
the block and the building itself has a number. Well, I guess it does here too. But you look at the borough and then the block itself and then the building rather than having a consistent street name.
Right.
Some streets have names, but many don't.
Where some streets have a name. All right. Yep, nothing else that I can think of from my pictures that I wanted to talk about. So.
Never saw a Street Fighter tie. Nope.
Dude, the Final Fantasy store had a chocobo tie.
Oh, that's cool.
I really wanted to get that thing, but it was like $60.
Wow.
$60 for that tie. Not only that, but I wouldn't be able to wear it on a Capcom stream anyway, so...
Was it like obviously...
Yeah, there was like tiny little chocobos on it, stuff like that, so there's no way I could do that. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
It's 11:30. It's definitely Tuesday show for everybody now, except for us in Hawaii.
Did you say us in Hawaii?
Yeah,
Are we in Hawaii? What?
It's definitely the Tuesday show officially for everyone except for us in Hawaii.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost for us too.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I guess I'm tired. That's probably what that means. So.
Yes.
Oh man, I saw the Asahi Beer headquarters as I was walking around, and it has a sculpture on top. This giant gold-colored sculpture, huge.
Right.
That is supposed to evoke the foam that's on top of a beer, like the head, right? It looks just like a huge turd. Just like a huge turd. And I looked it up. Like, its official Wikipedia page says that locals call it the poop building. Oh, man, it was so weird.
And with that...
Also, I saw a place that was advertising. So somebody told me that the way that they pour beers in Japan there, I think it was Tinchi maybe, said that they like having the foam on top. They like having the head. So I saw in a couple of bars that they advertise having the best head in town, like in English. I don't know if it's a joke or not.
Right.
Like, because I'm not sure.
Okay.
But if I kind of hope it's real. I hope that they really are advertising that they pour the best head in town, because that's.
Because I was about to say, because
the joke.
That slogan could be on a lot of different buildings in Japan.
Sure could, buddy. Let's get out of here. Bird it.
Oh, man. Night, everybody.